Hello there, and welcome to the Proudly Zambian podcast. This is a place where we shine a spotlight on local legends, innovative products and services, and the incredible spirit that makes Zambia truly great. I'm your host, Rose Chikotola. So, let's think local first, have some fun, and show the world exactly why Zambia rocks. Welcome back to another exciting episode. There's something special about buying local, not just because it supports jobs or communities, but there's a story behind every product. On today's episode, we bring you to the inspiring journey of delicious milling, what started the dream, how it's grown into a trusted brand in all households across Zambia. Hi, Peter.
Hi.
How are you?
Okay.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Great. So as per tradition, we do icebreaker questions here to get to know you on a personal level.
No problem.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Nice.
Far away.
What's your favorite Zambian dish?
My favourite Zambian dish. Well, since I've travelled all around Zambia, and what tends to be the only choice whether to have fish or chicken, I won't say chicken, I'll say tilapia. Yeah, no, I really like it.
Do you know how to
especially if it's
eat it the Zambian way?
Well, there's various ways I've seen it cooked, but
Yeah.
to eat it with the fingers, no, I still use a knife and fork.
You still use a
I'm
knife and
very
fork.
British when it comes to that.
But at least you still get the taste in the
Absolutely,
mouth.
but whether it's fried or baked or I like it all sorts of ways, you know.
Nice.
Particularly if it's fresh. I really love my tilapia. Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Great. Any skill sets that you have that people might not know?
Well, everyone knows me for the boxing. But,
Uh-huh.
I'm not a boxer. I'm not a trainer. Everyone thinks I'm the trainer de Estepiri. I was the promoter and the sponsor. Do you see? So the whole Estepiri theme
Yeah.
was for her to be a brand ambassador to market the products in national milling. And that's how it was very successful. So, no, my sport is football.
Football.
I was a semi-professional footballer in England.
No.
Yes. I've been playing football ever since I've been here. I gave up 11-a-side about 15 years ago because I'm now 69. And I took up 5-a-side and I've been playing at a very high standard in the futsal league. And I only retired 18 months ago. I was the oldest serving FIFA player registered, playing at the age of 67 in the league in Division 1. I've never played social football, kick around. No, it's not me. I play competitive football. So I was playing against 18, 19-year-olds, playing in Division 1 in the futsal league.
Giving them
up
the
until
pressure.
September 2023. And I'm very proud of it.
Wow.
Yeah, and the last 2 seasons I played, we came 4th in the league. So really serious stuff. And I miss it badly.
You miss
but
it.
I don't miss a single Premier League game. I don't miss any Champions League games on TV. I record them all, stay up at night, watch them. I've been following the World Club competition, which we go through late into the mornings because I'm just a football fanatic, you know. I follow, obviously,
True
Zambia,
supporter of the
the
sport.
Zambian, the Copper Queens, the Zambian women's team. I think it's fantastic. I follow all football. So there we are. It's out there now.
Yeah,
I'm a
it's out
footballer,
there.
not a boxer.
The secret is out. Great. Describe your cooking skills in one word.
Well, yeah, actually I cook, which probably surprises a lot of people. I was lucky when I was at National Milling, you know, because I employed a cook. It was good to give employment. And so then my wife can eat all the Zambian dishes. I can eat all the international cuisine, you know, as well as some Zambian dishes.
Yeah.
My dear old mum taught me the basics of cooking.
Yeah.
It said that one day you might be on your own and you'll starve if you don't know how to
have
cook.
to cook. Yeah.
And so, of course, I've had periods of living on my own, and I cook for myself. Fairly basic dishes, but I can make a good spaghetti bolognese or what we call the cottage pie. You know, basic dishes. I'm not bad at.
So the word that we're using is basic here.
Basic,
Basic.
not fancy. I don't open the cookbook. It's just something that I've been taught to, and it can get me by.
No, we love that. We love that. If you were to describe Zambia in one word, Or
I've
would
been
it
here
be-
37 years, it's home.
Yeah.
And when I travel, and I travel quite a bit, I can't wait to get back.
Mm-hmm.
When I get off the plane and get that Zambian fresh air,
Yeah.
I sigh with relief that I'm back home. Because it's the most peaceful nation. Look
Yeah.
what's going on in the world today, all these wars and conflicts
Yeah.
and problems. And, the problems we have here, we talk them up,
Yeah.
because they're nothing compared to other countries.
Nothing,
Seriously, even
clearly.
in Africa.
Yeah.
So, we worry about things like, where we're going to bury the former president and so on and so forth. It's peaceful. Zambians are lovely people.
Yeah.
I'm married to a Zambian. I've got children here. So, I love it here. I had an opportunity to leave the last couple of years, and I didn't take it. I decided to
That's
stay
how much
here.
you love Zambia,
So we won't go into that in detail, but I decided, no, this is my home. And I
Great.
still have a lot to contribute. I sit on various boards and various activities I do. I'm very active in the church now.
Yeah.
I'm very active in through Ministry of Agriculture, and I'm chairman of the End Malaria campaign under the End Malaria Fund. And I've been doing that for 5-6 years, and
Yeah.
it keeps me very busy. We met with the president at State House last week. I think you may have seen that on
We
the news.
saw some pictures.
Yeah, so I'm really trying to give back, my time back and contribute. And I'm definitely giving more time to the Lord now. I'm very active in church. I'm a trainee deacon. So, I was baptized again just over a year ago. So I'm a reborn again Christian, and I'm very proud of it.
I love that.
So, you'll always find me in church on a Sunday morning. Yes.
That's great. Let's get into the
Right.
serious things.
The serious
now.
stuff.
Yes.
The business.
Yes, the
Yes.
business and the reason why you're here.
Thank you.
Tell us the story behind Delicious Milling.
Well, first off, just to mention something about the Proudly Zambian campaign, I used to sit on the ZAM board. And, I was one of the first board members to be promoting it as ZAM. And so it's very close to my heart. And it's taken years to get this going and launched, because it's been an on, off, because every time governments change, it goes backwards and so on. So I'm very pleased and very excited to be awarded as Delicious Milling, the first milling company to actually meet the criteria and be allowed to put the logo on the bag, which it is there now.
We're clapping.
Yeah, so if you buy a bag of our Millie Mill in Choppies,
Yeah.
you will see the official logo on the side of the bag.
Nice.
So it's great to be here to officially, announce that.
Yeah.
And I don't believe anyone else has met the criteria yet. So I think that's a big boost. I started at Delicious Milling only 10 months ago, September 2024.
Fairly new.
I'd retired after Superior Milling, went into consultancy for over 6 years. And the owner of Delicious, George Leakopoulos, was a client of mine, and I was consulting for them.
Oh.
So as we were growing the business so fast and rapidly, he said to me, but if I follow all your guidelines of how to grow the business, I'm not going to manage, because he's also into commodity trading.
Yeah.
You need to find me someone to run the milling company, because I don't have the milling knowledge. I said, you're looking at him. He said, what are you talking about? I said, I'll come and run
I
the
can do
business
it.
for you.
Yeah.
So within a couple of weeks, we'd agreed to contract terms, and I started work for him that quickly. And so we moved from the consultancy side to working full-time again.
Full-time.
Literally 6 days a week, and, sometimes 12 hours a day. And I'm loving it. It took a while to get back into getting up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning
fix.
and driving all the way to 10 miles where the mill is, which takes an hour.
Yep.
But I'm the first there at 7 o'clock, because I like to set an example.
Yep.
And I'm really loving the responsibility again, and the fact that I'm involved with George, the owner, in lobbying, which I really enjoy doing, and working with ZAM and all the other institutions in order to get the right policies for our industry, which is basically value addition, because I think that is the way forward, and that's what this government believes. Whether it's copper, whether it's maize, whether it's wheat, we need to value add and export and bring in that foreign exchange. Yeah.
I love that. So you had mentioned that you've only been there 10 months?
Yes, 10
Yeah.
months.
I checked on the website,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And your vision is to become a reliable and favored brand.
Yes.
What do you mean by favored?
Well, it's a little bit of cut and paste
Yeah.
because obviously I'm recognised because of what I achieved at National Milling. And when you achieve something like that and you get it all right and you leave that legacy behind,
Yeah.
which is now, I left there in 2011, so that's 14 years ago. And National Milling is still the number one brand. And it's in all the stores and outlets. And it's a premium brand.
Yeah.
And that's what I built. So I'm pleased that my successors there haven't changed the model one bit, not one bit, and because it works. And why break something that works?
Yeah.
So I've cut and pasted that, which I did in Superior Milling.
Yeah.
And in fact, I took Superior Milling to the number one brand in the country. I even knocked National Milling off the top. We were outselling them in ShopRite 2-1
Yeah.
when we were at the peak. So I even got the statistics to prove that. But unfortunately, the owners wanted to sell the company, and that was in my mandate at Superior. And so we did sell the company, and we sold it to IDC government. And since that's none of my business, and to say no more.
Yeah.
So, but I successfully built a brand again at Superior. I then, for a client, ran another milling company for an unknown client up in Mbala and successfully built a brand up there as well called Colombo Milling. So it was obvious I could build these brands with a cut and paste, type theme. And so I'm doing exactly the same at Delicious Milling because it works, And that is to embrace yourself with the media.
Yeah.
And this, by the way, is my first day of launching my marketing campaign for Delicious Milling because I've worked tirelessly for 10 months on operations because we've commissioned a new mill as well as the old mill. So it's got the capacity now, which is important. So now is the time because this is the season to start marketing. So I'm busy in the field. So I now spend half a day in operations at the mill, and in the afternoons I spend the afternoon marketing, visiting customers and companies, face-to-face meetings, and building the brand. So one builds a brand not only visually but also to build that brand, it has to be exposed.
Yeah.
And you can expose it on the media is one thing, but it needs to be seen. Because if you're going to have a phone in,
Definitely.
you're going to say, well, where is it available?
Yeah.
So with my marketing team, we're trying to get into all the various outlets around Lusaka first, and then branching out into the different provinces. So we're slowly doing that branching out. We're in the compounds already, not all over, because we've really only just started.
Yeah.
So you can't see our product everywhere at the moment, but you will very soon, It's in most of the retail stores, and I'm still working on that to get it listed because it all takes time.
Yeah.
So basically watch this space and you'll be seeing more and more of the brand.
More of the brand. So what should we look out for?
Yeah, look
What
out!
brands do you have?
Look out for the Delicious Milling logo, which you'll see on the website, so you get an idea of what it looks like.
Yeah.
Our colours are yellow and green, so it stands out. And try it, basically. Go out and look for it. When you see it in one of the retail stores or in the markets, buy it and try it because we're known for it being the name Delicious.
Yep.
There's something about the machinery we've got which makes it very white and very delicious, not too fine, just the right texture, which people like. And in fact, for your information, Delicious were the first company to launch the product called Super Roller, which you've all heard of now. And other companies have copied it. It started at Delicious Milling.
Wow.
So in Chibombo area, that is famous. When we go out for sales around Chibombo area, going all the way up to Chisamba and back, you will find everybody asks for Super Roller. Now you're seeing it creeping into the retail markets now.
Yeah.
Others have copied it. Basically, I actually launched it in Superior Milling, but we called it something different there. We called it a standard breakfast. So in fact, it can be used either ways, because what it is it's a halfway house between roller mill and breakfast mill. Basically, it's the halfway. If you look at the nutritional makeup with the fiber and the energy and everything else, that's in there, the carbohydrates, it's split right down the middle, basically. So those roller producers have upgraded to super roller, and breakfast guys that maybe can't afford it want to come down a step and get something that's still a breakfast type of product, then they get super roller because it's still whites. Do you see?
Yeah.
So it gives you that option now, what I call a halfway house, and a very nice product, and very nutritious and higher in fiber, Yeah.
I love that. So sustainable growth is part of your vision. What does that look like for Delicious Milling?
Well, we've got this power issue, okay?
Yeah.
So obviously the first area we had to look at is how are we going to survive and sustain our growth with power, which we're not seeing easing at all, So I won't mention what hours we've got or anything else. We won't even get into that. Just how do we manage, basically?
How are you managing?
We manage with a generator. It's as simple as that, because we can't rely, unfortunately, at the moment on ZESCO, because, it's an act of God that we didn't receive enough rainfall in 2024. And it's going to take 2 or 3 years of good rains to make up those losses.
Yeah.
So we have to accept that's the situation, and we have to get buy from it. As households, we all go into solar, but we can't put solar up on a mill, which tends to be on a small plot, because as you've just seen with the Chisamba solar field that's just been launched by the president, I mean, that's a huge area, something like 100 hectares.
Yeah,
because I think it's something like 1 hectare for every megawatt. So, and that's a 100 megawatt station. So, we haven't got the land to do the solar for the panels.
Yeah.
If you've got a lot of warehousing, you can put it on top of your roofs. But, we basically got 1 mill building. So we have no choice but to use generators, and it's good that the fuel prices have come down. It helps. But it looks like generators are here for the stay, to back us up and give us that sustainable power so that we can grow our business. And then on top of that, it's really all about the markets, a combination of exports as well as local markets, because we have an overcapacity of maize milling in the country. Sometimes I get blamed for that because I marketed too well in the days of national milling, where we had a bit of a monopoly. Everybody thought, wow, this is a good business. Look at the money national millings make. Let's all put up maize mills. So in the last 10 or 15 years, it's doubled, trebled, quadrupled, in how many maize mills there are. And now there's 100% overcapacity. So in other words, if you cut it by half, you would still have enough to feed the nation. So we are hoping that we'll get quotas this year to get back into the Congo market, because that's our 11th province. See, I didn't say 10th. It's our 11th province. We have to feed Katanga province. Yeah. There's a lot of Zambians, cross-border trade that work both sides, and it basically doubles our consumption capacity and our population, because there's 20 million people in Zambia and there's 20 million people in Katanga province. So that is a great opportunity for exporting, but it's going to be controlled through government, through the Ministry of Agriculture, with quotas, so that we only export the surplus. So you don't have to worry if you hear about exports to the Congo, it's being now controlled, and it'll have no effect on the local pricing of mealie meal or shortages or anything, because on the food balance sheet this year, we do have a minimum 500,000 ton surplus of maize this year. Compared to last year's deficit, that's quite amazing. I mean, thanks to God that he's given us rain in the last year, and may it continue.
Continue, indeed. You had mentioned earlier about the Proudly Zambian campaign, and you spoke about with so much passion.
Yes.
What does it mean to be part of such a campaign as Delicious Milling?
I think it's very important because we're a truly Zambian company.
Yeah.
And I won't say any more than that. I just get you to ask when you're looking at all the competitors, which of them are truly Zambian. And you'd be surprised at the one that's not, and I won't mention their name. So the best way for you to determine which companies are truly Zambian and meet the criteria is to look for the Proudly Zambian campaign logo. Because we are.
Yeah.
And so we meet that criteria laid out jointly by ZAM and also the Minister of Commerce, to meet the criteria. So we're very proud of that, and that's going to be a part of my marketing campaign when I'm trying to push it into retailers and into the market.
Yeah. You've spoken about the logo. I'm sure you're aware that people can go and use our logo illegally. What words do you have for them?
Well, as I was on the board those days, and we were looking at how government can put in penalties against companies that do that. Yeah. And I don't know whether ZAM, through the Ministry of Commerce, have put in any legal aspects to that. I think it's very important. I think someone like ourselves, if we see someone else has got a logo which is not certified by ZAM, we will definitely report them.
Yep.
Now, what's the point in reporting them if no action is taken? Yeah. It's how you police it. I mean, those sacks or those bags must be removed off the shelf because that means they're declaring a fake logo. Do you see? Yeah. And it should be illegal and it should be prosecuted. So I do feel that that's an area that ZAM really has to work on with the Ministry of Commerce, because we should have a fair competition, not unfair competition. Yes.
Nice. There's this myth that Zambian products are not of quality. How is Delicious Milling changing the narrative?
No, that's very good. I think that myth disappeared 10, 15 years ago. Because,
you think?
Yeah, I really do. I know some people still think that, but we've done a lot of work on that, through ZAM, through all the various associations and Ministry of Commerce and government to change that myth. Now, when you see the likes of ShopRite and these others, Pick and Pay, are now utilising 75 to 80% of local products, and that's been going on for about at least the last 10 years. I think we've seen that change.
There's a shift,
because now you have to start searching for import products if you only want imports, whereas it used to be the other way around. You had to search for a good local product. What have we improved? We've improved packaging tremendously. And I still think when I look at import packaging, we still got way to go because we're always just trying to catch up. Laminated plastics and recyclable plastics, and I think that's another area for sustainability. To move to the green economy, for recycling. I think these are all areas where we need to be very conscious of. But definitely with the likes of Trade Kings, who have really cut and pasted so many imported products, they can truly call themselves import substitution. Their brands that they launch are very closely and similar to the imported brands, and hats off to them without actually copying it, because it would be illegal under PACRA. They managed to do something that's very close to it, and I've tested it, with some of these products, cornflakes and so on and so forth, and they're very good. So I really think that we've caught up. Now with Mini Mill, we don't have that problem. We never had that problem. And I'll give you an example. if you go into Lumumbashi in Katanga province, and I've been there many times on marketing trips, the Congolese love our Zambian Mini Mill. They prefer it better to the South African, and if they get it from Tanzania as well, and they've tried to put up milling companies in the Congo, and they've got that same problem, but they're like 20, 30 years behind. No one wants to buy a Congolese-made bag of mealie meal. They only want to buy imported, particularly Zambian. Do you see? No, that's where we were 20, 30 years ago, you see. It takes a long time, and it will change. You know, there are milling companies going up slowly and farms going up in the Congo. And so, you know, we may well lose that market in maybe 10 years' time or something because it's a natural progression.
Yeah.
But certainly I feel we've moved away from that.
Yeah,
And local products now are very good. And they're also monitored very, very carefully by SABS and all these different institutions who come and check. We have to have our health
quality,
standards and food handler certificates and all these certificates. We employ one person to look after certification, health and safety and everything else because it's very important now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So why do you believe Zambians should support local owned companies such as Delicious?
Well, I think we should be patriotic to start with.
Yep.
You know, it's very important. We need to help create jobs and wealth. So there's so many reasons. You know, we don't need to put the money in foreign companies' pockets. We need to put it in local companies' pockets so they can employ people. And particularly we're on the value chain, the added value chain is very important. But remember, we support the whole chain because we're in the middle. So the farmers cannot grow maize without the millers because they got not enough to do with it. They may retain some themselves and take it to Chigayo. But I can tell you now, most of it they sell to us or FRA. Even FRA only buys 500,000 tons a year. The estimate for the crop this year, as you know, is 3.6 million tons. So 500,000 goes to FRA. 3.1 million is going to be bought by the private sector. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
So definitely we need to be making more mealie meal and more maize products. And there are lots of other maize products that are produced now, you know, which is good, like cornflakes and corn puffs and crisps and all these value-added products here now, which we used to import them all. And now we're making them here. So there's more and more demand for the maize as well as in the region as well. We must be an exporter of what we produce. The country, the government wants us to produce 10 million tons of maize. Well, you can't produce 10 million tons of maize if you don't have a market for at least 3/4 of that.
Yeah.
Because it will go to waste. So it's very important now with that announcement and the way we're going up, because this is the most we've ever produced in Zambia, the 3.6. Yeah. So we went from a deficit to a record. And we're supposed to produce more year on, year off, you know. It means that we must expand our markets, and the region, first, our neighbours, is the very first customers we must move to. So Zimbabwe will have a shortage this year because they didn't produce enough. So we must supply Zimbabwe, you know. Malawi got hit with some violent storms and floods and so on. So we always find that the cross-border trade, because we're land-linked, you see, we don't use the word landlocked anymore. We take advantage of all that cross-border trade because they all buy our mealie meal on the borders. Angola doesn't produce anything. It's an oil-producing country. And so anything that goes to sort of Western province, it will find its way across as well. So definitely I'm hoping government now will keep borders open, of course, with quotas. So it's monitored and managed, just as in South Africa, where you have a commodity exchange. And so you look at your crops, and if you have a deficit, you import. If you have a surplus, you export. And that's exactly what we need to do every year. When we have the food balance sheet, which comes out in the first week of May, government can make their policy going forward on imports and exports, not from closing borders and opening borders. Should all be done with quotas.
Nice. So how does Delicious Milling support local farmers or cooperatives?
Well, basically we buy 100% of our maize from small-scale farmers. We haven't got any contracts with commercial farmers.
Really?
Whereas others may well have contracts with commercial farmers. It's easier to deal with the commercial farmers. They keep to the contracts, and the maize is even a higher quality and everything else. But it's just something that I've always done. I feel that, you know, the small scale farmers in this country are the lifeblood, the heart of the farming in this country. You know, I mean, there's a couple of million of them growing maize. And something like 1.1 million who are beneficiaries of FISIP. So we must give them the market. And they can't all sell to FRA. So you've got the traders who are the middlemen. They get called the briefcase people. But unfortunately, whatever name you call them, they play a very important role in the logistic chain. Because farmers are in far-flung areas, a lot of them, you know, and they're on roads which are inaccessible, so they bring it maybe by ox carts or however to the main road. It gets aggregated for 30-ton trucks, which is where the traders come in now, who bring it to the mill, and then we pay them for a truckload. And then they go back and buy more from the farmers, you see. Nice. And it's all on cash. So without the middlemen, the traders, we would not manage, because we as millers don't go out and buy maize. Some copper belt millers do, but generally they go into places like Makushi and farm blocks and so on. I think Lusaka is a classic example where we survive virtually on 100% small-scale maize. You know?
Nice.
And certainly delicious milling, particularly we're in a rural area. We're located not in the city centre, where a lot of mills, we're located at 10 miles. So we must support all the farmers in Chibombo, which we do. We're open to buying 1 bag, 10 bags, or 10 tons, you know. And a lot of mills won't even go to that bother, but we do. So we support the local farmers.
Okay. You had mentioned that you'd want to reach out to more retail stores. Are there any additional services, perhaps for bulk buyers or even cooperatives, that you feel you'll tap into?
I would say we want to cover the whole broad spectrum. So because we've been working in conjunction with DMMU on the school feeding programs and social welfare programs, we know how to tap into these various schools and colleges and hospitals and institutions and everything else. So that definitely is part of our business. A lot of those types of businesses, they're quite hard work to manage, you know. And I don't mind mentioning the name. We're very proud that we supply Zambeef. So we're in their butchery, so you can look out for them in all Zambeef stores in Lusaka.
Look out for that.
We've now branched out into Western Province, so we're in all Zambeef Western Province stores, and we're very shortly this month going to hopefully start in Southern Province as well, and then move on to Eastern, Central, and move around the country. So that's giving us the momentum to really go national, because we're following Zambeef around with all their stores. So we thank them for that partnership, because that's a big name, and it gives us credibility because they're a public listed company, and it just shows that we can meet their criteria with our corporate governance, and that's because we are also, you know, under the Proudly Zambian campaign, because we've met that criteria, and that's the foundation. It's very difficult to get listed by these international retailers if you haven't got good corporate governance, you know. And so for us, it's straight in, you know. It's really whether they have the space, because they've got other brands already there. And there were brands I've listed before. So it's really hard to push my old brands out. One's hoping that they'll just give them a little bit less space and give me a little bit of space. And then we'll compete with each other head on.
Nice, great.
So definitely, I think all opportunities, catering companies for mines, so many, you know. There's so many different areas that one can tap into. But being that there's so many mills now, what you're finding now is mills seem to be rationalizing based on where they're located. And even the supermarkets have joined that. Whereas National Milling supplied to and Africa Milling all the stores in the country, you find now that maybe 50% of what they, say ShopRite would buy or Pick n Pay buy in a copper belt, they will give it to a local miller, and some to the national brands as well. Do you see?
Nice.
So they're giving support to all the local millers around the country now, which makes a lot of sense because it cuts down the cost of transportation.
True.
And it ultimately brings the price down for the consumer, because we used to charge a premium to take it to Maize, to Kasama, to other places around. Now we're not allowed to do that. If you want to go to other parts out of Lusaka, you must charge a flat rate price. And I'm sure government not even aware that we've done this, and and I've even done that with our customers at the moment. So you average the price out so that you can afford to put some transport costs in there. And so wherever you are, whether you're in Maize, Kasama, or anywhere around the country, you should start to see standard prices. Do you see it? It hasn't happened yet. It's getting there. Do you see?
Yeah.
And the retailers are pushing it. So, hats off to them. They're looking after the consumer first.
Yeah.
We would love to have a premium for transport and recover all our costs, but sometimes that can't be possible. So if we're not going to match that local price of the local miller, the local miller gets all the business. Do you see?
Yeah.
So then it's fair for him. It's good for the consumer, it's good for the retailer, because it means that's why we've seen the lowering of mealie meal prices significantly across the country, because that's taking place. You see, otherwise,
there's
if
a
you
balance.
if you have a monopoly situation, you can sort of dictate the prices to wherever you go, because they say, well, then I'm not going to supply you if you don't add that on, and then you've got them in a corner because they've got no choice, because there's not a milling company close by. Now there are mills all over the country. Yeah. There's even ZNS around the country. So we now have to think outside the box for our marketing, and we have to spread our marketing philosophy. Yeah. You just can't sit back and sell it out the gate that you used to be able to do a few years ago.
Things are changing.
And this is all great news for the consumer, because the price of 400 kwacha a bag we never thought we'd ever see was only because of the drought and the shortage that was created by maize and power. And let's hope we never see it again. Now we're actually selling mealie meal retail now around 220, 230 breakfast meal, which is incredible. And I'm not saying that's what it is around the country, but that's where it's gone down to, from 400 in the space of just 4 to 6 weeks. It's nearly gone to half. So and it'll never go down to, I don't know why, a lot of Zambians say, well, why don't we go back to the 65 kwacha? That was all fully subsidized, Government cannot afford to continue to subsidize anything, let alone foodstuffs, which go back to the food vouchers I found in 1988 with Cottan days. You had a food voucher to go and get your mealie meal. Yeah. You have to pay the price now. So what we must do is keep the cost of production down, okay? But still rewarding everyone in the value chain. Yeah. And that's government's very difficult job, to make sure the price is right at the farmer level, at the miller level, through to the retailer. And in between those, you've got the logistics. You've got agents, you've got buyers, you've got transporters, all making money out of that value chain as well. You see.
Nice. Great. I think my takeaway from the conversation is the importance of partnerships and collaborations, because you've mentioned how you've partnered with Zambeef and now you are following them wherever they're going, and that's making your brand go national. And aside from that, my other takeaway is how when you support a Zambian company such as Delicious Milling, you are supporting a local farmer in Chiwombo.
Absolutely.
And I love that. And that's why the Proudly Zambian campaign is here, and that's our mandate. Yes. So any last words for our listeners?
Yes. I think everybody knows my background, and what I say is what I do, and particularly now I'm a born-again Christian, I wanted to prove to the Lord that I can lead a perfect life. So, I mean what I say. Yeah. So I won't work for a company and say it's X when it's Y. Do you see? So if I say it's good quality mealie meal, it is good quality mealie meal. Nice. It means I took on the best production miller in the country, which I've done. I won't say where he came from, but one of the other big companies. But he's been with me for many years. So I've got a team around me who I trust, and they're all good Christians as well. So we work very hard and diligently to get the perfect product in the bag, which the customers want. And what we do is we listen to our salesmen who talk to the customers and give us the feedback.
Yeah,
and when I get going regularly on the radio stations, which I will be doing very shortly, we already want to rack up an arrangement with Radio Christian Voice again, which I've done many times before. They've always been a partner of mine, and they've offered to do the same to build the brand and they're national for delicious milling. Then we'll be talking about, we'll be unpacking these things and talking about them in detail, nutritional contents and how do we achieve such whiteness and, and what is good for people to eat. Roll or super roll or breakfast and all these factors and even some of the policies and unpack those and so people understand, because there's a lot of misunderstandings and government can unfairly get criticized because some of us guys sit on quite a few of these boards and helping towards policy direction. So we think a lot of it is a lot of misunderstandings, and that's why some governments panic when they go to shut borders down, because there's a lot of media pressure, because the assumption is that it's the exports to the Congo that's raised the prices. It had nothing to do with it. It's never had anything to do with it. Because the most that's ever gone out of the country that we've recorded is about 200,000 tonnes. And yet we average about 3 million tonnes of maize every year. So it's a very small portion, that actually goes across, because other countries supply that market as well. Dar es Salaam and South Africa depend on the Katanga province market. You see, we haven't got it exclusively. We've got maybe a third of the business, And every time we shut the borders, we're giving it away to those other two, and it's very hard to get back again. Now we've got to fight to get back, because it's been closed for 2 years, and we've got to get that market back, win it back. And we'll only get it back by them remembering the brands, so we get them in there, and making sure it's what they like, and that is the whiteness, the quality, the consistent supply. Remember, that's a very important thing as well. You can't come and go in markets. You must always be there, and that's something Delicious Milling want to ensure, is that you will always find our product, consistent supply. So we haven't gone rushing out there to sell and be in the markets until we know that we've got the operational side right and the milling side, and that it's fully commissioned, which it is now, and anyone's welcome to come and have a look. And when we walk you around the mill, you'd be shocked, because it's a very complicated process. It's not a glorified chigayo, It's technology at its best, because a lot of people don't know that you can get 6 products out of 1 pip of maize.
We're being educated.
We'll go into that another day, because that's another whole program.
Wow,
but that's just to whet your appetite. And people don't realise that. And 3 of those are for stock fish, and 3 of those for human consumption.
Nice.
And so, and a lot of mills don't even take advantage of that. They just produce basically the 2 or 3, So there's so much you can do. And then when you're talking about relationships, and you can deal with other companies' relationships where you're supplying, because they're adding value, your corn chips and your other processes, So breweries as well, of course. There's so many opportunities to build those relationships, definitely.
Nice.
Because maize is our staple food, and so it's not going away. It's not going to get replaced by anything else. No. And I've heard it in previous governments talking about cassava replacing maize, because it's. And I shook my head and said, there's some things that are just traditional. And mealie meal, and shima and maize is traditional. You're not going to change it, And they failed to change it. trying to blend it and force it into the consumer. I'm sorry, if you want to make a cassava mix, you will buy a bag of cassava at the same time, a small bag, and you'll mix it yourself, isn't it? Give people the option. Don't force it on them, you see, because that's your changing tradition.
Yeah. No, it's been a lovely and insightful conversation, and I thank you once more for coming through.
It's a
And
pleasure.
it's nice to be the platform that has started your marketing journey,
There we are,
like
see,
you
can you
mentioned.
imagine?
No, it was lovely having you. And to our listeners, let's think local first.
Thanks for hanging out with us on the Proudly Zambian podcast. Want to be a part of the show? Share your story or give a shout out to a Proudly Zambian product or service you love. Just send a voice note to pzc@zam.co.zm or WhatsApp us on +260 952 489 717. This podcast is brought to you by the Proudly Zambian campaign and powered by Unicus Media, helping manufacturing businesses overcome brand invisibility and inconsistency through strategy, design, and visual identity. Email them at hello@unicus.media. Don't forget to subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you're listening. Help us spread the local love. Until next time, keep thinking local first.